As the world continues to acknowledge the power that anime and manga have on modern pop culture, we've begun to see the amazing effects of this Japanese inspiration. Other countries now create their own animation series that even rival Japan's in entertainment quality, as well as other platforms and formats becoming not necessarily a replacement, but more so a rapidly growing accompaniment to manga and books and light novels for readers across the world, fervently seeking fresh, new content. With full color and a format easily accessible from your phone or any device you can mindlessly scroll through, webtoons are hard to ignore for manga fans looking to expand their horizons. And admittedly, I haven't dug my teeth as far into webtoons as I would like to. Aside from Solo Leveling, God of High School, and Tower of God, my knowledge and expertise in this area is quite notably limited. But I will say that despite that, I believe that I can still recognize a good, promising series when it comes around, no matter what the format may be. The makings of a confident, strong, and well-written protagonist. Excellent world building that makes me excited for the mystery and long journey that is to come. And often a neglected trait of series with powerful main characters, a cast of side characters that still feel fleshed out and honestly just relevant. I found all of this and more, I believe, in Doombreaker, a hot, up-and-coming webtoon that has reeled me in and genuinely engrossed me in a way that few series do nowadays. Zephyr is humanity's last and strongest soldier. We're thrown into the midst of his lone battle against Tartarus, the god of destruction and lord of demons, the one who took away his friends and everyone he ever loved in the war against the demons that has left Zephyr as the sole remnant of hope in this futile battle for what is now only a memory of humankind. Tartarus, whether it be out of respect for Zephyr or as a final attempt to humiliate him and laugh as he begs for a chance to live, offers humanity's strongest soldier a chance to join him and the demons. A chance for human's peak form to ascend past his feeble frame. And as Zephyr reaches out his hand to the demon god, he responds with exactly what we would hope and expect of the last human left. Shaking Tartarus' hand and triggering his self-destruct spell, Zephyr tells him, "Screw you, asshole." In his last moments, though Zephyr feels regretful over his inability to avenge those he lost, he actually manages to humiliate Tartarus by injuring him for the very first time in his eternal reign as the god of destruction. It's a bitter defeat. And then he awakens. Finding himself in the pantheon of the gods, Zephyr is informed that at the insistence of the gods themselves, it has been deemed that Zephyr will be sent back in time, as a chance to change how things ended. To erase this bitter defeat and replace it, hopefully, with victory. Though he will lose his physical training, mana, and acquired skills, he will retain one thing. His memories, and all of the knowledge he has amassed throughout his life as the most powerful human in the world. But Zephyr isn't stupid. It's something you learn quite early on. This isn't just some checkpoint he can restart at, some perfect chance offered by the holy and benevolent god above. When Tartarus began slaughtering humanity, people's prayers to the gods were ignored. Their offerings were refused. The priests who borrowed this divine power originally were stripped of it. The gods decided that humans no longer had anything left to give and abandoned them. So what reason could they have for sending Zephyr back in time?
We want to see something a little more entertaining.
They enjoyed watching Zephyr struggle for years against the demons and were saddened to see him die so soon. They even gave him a little help before he died to try and keep him alive longer for their entertainment, like he was just a plaything. Which, of course, Zephyr does not take kindly to, knowing that the lives of his loved ones were nothing more than a show for the god sitting idly by. Even Tartarus himself requested that Zephyr be sent back in time in order to erase this humiliation from history's record, a petty act, but one that Zephyr is fully ready to take advantage of. Given perks from the gods to support him on his journey, or rather make his story a bit more fun in their eyes, and with the knowledge he's amassed, Zephyr gladly takes up the chance to rewrite history and take vengeance upon Tartarus and the other spiteful gods watching his story. On Zephyr's journey, we watch what is basically the epitome of someone replaying a video game they've already done a 100% walkthrough on before. Having insight on how to quickly gain power and the quickest methods to level up on the early stages, revealing and utilizing information on enemies who Zephyr already knows details about. Half of his conversations with new enemies start with, "How do you know that?" After Zephyr reveals some piece of information that no one in the world would ever know. And while you think this might get old, the part that makes Doombreaker great is more so seeing how Zephyr deviates from what is essentially the original story. Zephyr is on a mission. Everything he does has a purpose in the long run to change the future. And his plans to befriend and meet certain people from his past life come with challenges, but with his knowledge of who they are and their stories, he's able to do it. He's essentially preparing humanity and the people he knows for the danger and war that lies ahead, maybe even prevent it. He might be able to break free of the doomed fate that lies in store for him and the rest of humanity. In spite of how cheesy it might get, I'm a sucker for series with really overpowered main protagonists. They tend to have a lot of problems, don't get me wrong. It's something I generally coin as the OPMC dilemma. A poorly explored supporting cast, a shallow main character who fails to show much growth over the course of the series, villains who don't get a chance to shine because they're quickly dismantled by the protagonist. Most series with an obviously overpowered main character are susceptible to at least a couple of these issues. A good example lies with the later stages of Dragon Ball Z. During the Buu arc, the series begins to disregard its sidecast, giving Gohan, Goten, and Trunks massive power upgrades that were immediately disregarded and used as power upgrades for an antagonist whose only trait was being an adaptive pink alien who couldn't speak, leaving Goku as the sole star of the show, and giving him Super Saiyan 3, a power-up that held no emotional or plot value like Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 2 did, except to simply be strong to fight Majin Buu. But many series handle this dilemma excellently, and actually use it to their advantage. One Punch Man avoided the issue of a character who shows no development by, well, embracing it. Having the most simplistic, funny main character in both name and ability. He is exactly what you call him. Mob Psycho 100 has full, fleshed out arcs for many of its side characters, avoiding that issue of a weak supporting cast, many of whom have actually become fan favorites in the series, like Reagan. Likewise, Doombreaker handles the issue very well. Zephyr is physically overpowered, but not grossly so. Because he restarts with no skills or mana except for the abilities given to him by the gods, he does have to continue getting stronger through the story. He experiences many roadblocks hindering his abilities early in the series as he comes to terms with a body that is far weaker than the one he used to have. But what sets this series apart from most is that Zephyr is insanely overpowered not so much so in physical abilities, but in his knowledge. Knowing the true nature of most of the characters in the story lets him manipulate the tale to his will, and the location or method of gaining abilities gives him the strength he needs to back it. More than anything, being physically strong is just a way to support his overarching plans, rather than being Zephyr's biggest asset. He's a smart, strong, and scheming main protagonist who you can't help but be entranced by. And if you couldn't tell from the panels I've been using, the art is amazing. There's something utterly addicting about reading through webtoons. I'm not sure if because of the simple top-to-bottom format that it feels so easily digestible, or if the series is simply that intriguing, or both. I caught up with the series and was genuinely ready to pay on the webtoon app to read the extra 5 chapters once I got there. I think that Doombreaker is going to big places, and I can't wait for every single chapter that comes out weekly. I highly recommend it. As always, this has been the Anime Culture Corner. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future in-depth show, manga, and character analyses.